Welcome back, everybody. This is EA Global Summit 2020, virtual conference connecting global EA practitioners. This is Juhi from Summit team, and this is day 2 of conference. We have been seeing fabulous response for this conference from EA community. We are having exciting and informative sessions still coming up from speakers for the next few days too, and we have sophisticated collaboration platform to give you all the best experience of attending this conference. For this session, we have Gaurav, independent EA consultant, presenting here efficient tool for BA practice. Just to bring your attention once again, we also have the Teams channel ready and set up for you to connect and interact with Gaurav and other EA practitioners after this session and throughout this summit too. Please refer to the chat window to find the link. Please log your questions for this session to Teams channel shared in your chat window. Gaurav will be answering few questions in the Q&A session, but you can have a detailed discussion after this session in Teams channel. Now over to you, Gaurav. You can now present your session and share your screen. Gaurav, the mute is released from my end. You please release your mute. Okay.
All right. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining in. My name is Gaurav Kaushik, and I am an independent consultant, and I've been providing the customized solution to enterprises. My area of expertise is around the custom deployment of Sparx ES system, where I have worked on importing the current projects or the documents to build the repository, then customizing the toolboxes depending on the function or the team who's using, and providing the training to end users to utilize the Sparx ES system in a more better and efficient way. And I'm currently based in Atlanta, US. And today I will be talking about how we can use this Sparx EA in our BA practice to deliver the high quality artifacts efficiently and consistently. So that was my brief intro, and moving on. So what we BAs do? The general perception is that we talk. I mean, that's true that we talk and we talk to different stakeholders, but while we are talking, what actually we are doing. So, we assist with the business case. That's the very initial step in the process of a project. So in some organizations, there is a differentiation between a business BA and a technical BA. So if we have the luxury of that differentiation, so normally the business BA would, work on the scoping. He'll do the likes of, cost benefit analysis or initial proof of concept. And, once that is done, then we'll engage the technical BA to get the system requirement in process. So basically, it's the BAs who get the machinery moving from intangibles to tangibles. So once the initial business case is documented and all approved, then we come to the requirements elicitation, and there are different ways and different preferences. It's up to the BA, what he's comfortable with, or what your organizational culture is. The techniques we use is sometimes is the structured brainstorming or unstructured brainstorming, the workshops, the focus groups, and the famous coffee breaks. And to be honest, some of those coffee breaks, they are actually planned. So part of the job. Now, once we have started working on the elicitation, then we have to translate and simplify those requirements. And how we do is by using the use cases or the process mapping to give more meaning to the requirements, because if it's just a text, that it's not as effective as the diagrams for some of the users. And once we have simplified and translated, then we do the analysis. We identify the critical requirements that we need. Then we have to work on the estimation. Sometimes we do the MOSCO, the must have, should have, would have. So, our world revolves around the requirements. So it's critical that, the requirement phase is addressed properly. And, what I will be showing you, in the actual demo is how easily we can capture the requirements and, make it consistent, elaborate, and precise. And on the task that we do is, of course, everything that project manager asks us for. And once we have started working on the project, so these are the key deliverables, from the technical point of view. So we have to prepare the business requirement document, the process document, and the use cases. And I need to emphasize that it is critical that these three artifacts are clear and concise, and there is a clear traceability, because if it's not, then it's going to get even complex, down the track. And I'll explain it to you why it is critical that they are clear, concise, and traceable. Now, after the deliverable comes the challenges. We all know that the BA life, it's not easy. There are some technical challenges at times. There are some behavioral challenges. So it's, we have to improvise and work with, the cards that we have been dealt. So the common challenges from our users, sometimes they are resistant in sharing the information. It could be a personal reason, or sometimes I fail to understand why, there is so much resistance. At times they feel that they may become obsolete, or they may lose their relevance. So that could be a reason, but again, it varies. Then another challenge we come across is the irregular attendance. Again, it could be intentional or unintentional. There could be a high severity incident going on, and the key stakeholder could not participate, and we have to either reschedule, or sometimes they come late. And if it's happening too frequently, then it becomes a challenge, because then we have to reinvent, or go through the whole agenda again and again whenever they come late. And the third challenge we face is the accountability. It is the actual process where they put the name to the dotted line, the getting the sign off. It is a big challenge, and we have to really convince them that this is exactly what you need. And I'm sure that you guys understand how difficult it is to get the sign off. And the other challenge that I've faced very commonly is the conflict between the users. So by that, what I mean is, if a same application is used by two different functions, and I'm sure that each function wants to believe that they're using the system in most efficient and the best way, and they're afraid to put any changes, especially if it's needed by a different department. So there is a conflict. And then the challenge is the ever existing challenge is the changing needs. There's nothing certain except the change. So how we can address these challenges that come across in our arena. So the solution, or the wish list, is if we are facing the resistance from the users in sharing information, what if there is another source of information? Of course, we have to work with the user, but what if we could dig into our past documents or past repository to identify the tools or the information that we can reuse, and we can again make it for the future use. So it's good to have a central repository. And when it comes to irregular attendance, what if it's easy to incorporate the changes even if it comes later during the stage? So if we have a tool where all the things are traceable, trackable, and they're easy to change, then it will be a blessing. And then comes the accountability for decisions. So my experience is that if you actually decompose any requirement into smaller bits and chunks, and they're clearly legible and understood by stakeholder, it's easier to get the sign off. So what if we have a tool where we can actually decompose the requirements into smaller things, which is easily understood by a business stakeholder or the key stakeholder. And then when it comes to the conflict between the users, what if we can easily create the different process map, one for each functionality, and then showing them the impact analysis, how or if it's going to affect their function at all or not. If they have the better visibility, there will be lesser conflict. And with the need of the changing requirements, again, if it's easier to incorporate, it will make our life way easier. So what I propose is use Sparx EA tool. I've been using it for quite some time, and have a consistent approach. So I highly advocate that we use the templates so that all the stakeholders they know what to expect, and over the time it becomes a second nature. So the resistance to change or information is gone, so it's easily accepted. And once you have identified the tool, populate it. Don't let your previous project documentation go to waste. Make it a living thing. You can interrogate, you can identify the reusable things that you can just use it for your current project. And then I suggest that use Sparx EA because it is a comprehensive tool, and sometimes more is not good. So it gives you an option to actually simplify and customize the tools that you need depending on your function. So for example, when I'm doing my requirement, so I just use a simplified version of the requirement toolbox. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So this is a simplified toolkit that I've made for the business process. So I've removed all the clutter. It's just consistent look and feel. That's easier for me, easier for my users. So that's something I've implemented for the requirement toolkit. So how I showed you that the functional requirement will have a prefix of FR. The NFR is for non-functional requirement. There's a different color. And along with the look and feel, I'm not sure how many of you have attended the previous session by Judy, where he highlighted, what all should be captured in the requirements, the metadata. So the Sparx EA system would actually allow you to make certain fields mandatory so that there's a consistent approach and all the requirement details are captured. And there's another small toolkit, which is for the use case. So I've removed all the clutter. I'm just focusing on the most common things that I'm using for my current task. So that is the presentation. But now let me give you a look and feel of how it looks in the Sparx EA system. So this is a simple project that I created, and it was a quick job. So now let me just run you through. So you can see the requirement, the prefix, it says FR. So it is a functional requirement. And on the left over here, you can see the toolbox, which I've customized based on what I'll be needing for this particular task. So Spark system, it allows you to do, sorry, it allows you to do it. And again, you can define the mandatory metadata that you need. And just to explain it to you, you can just simply drag and drop it. Got all the color, the prefix, and then you can implement or you can populate the data that you need. So for now, I'll just delete this from here. I'll delete from my project browser later. So here you can see that it's very consistent, neat, and precise. So that's my requirement toolkit. So moving on to the business process, so I'll click on this. So that's a simple process that I created using the toolkit. It's a point of sale system. And on the left, again, that is the key thing that I've simplified. I've removed all the clutter, all the things that I don't need. So this, in a way, it is good because it removes the inconsistency, because at times, there are some notations that I've come across in my experience which no one except the guy who created understood. So at times we have to limit the creativity. That's not the area where we want the creativity. So by limiting the toolbox, you actually work on the consistent and efficient way, because I've told you before that if we have the consistent approach, then it's way easier to educate our stakeholders. They know what a business process map looks like, what this box means, what this, the different steps or different artifacts mean. So I've showed you the functional toolbox, then this is the process toolbox, and now comes to the use cases. So that's my simple use case toolbox. I've limited, I've decluttered, I've moved, things that I don't need. So that's a simple one. And depending on your complexity or your requirement, you can easily add or remove the items in a toolbox. Now, this is all about the consistency and the ease, but another area that becomes very challenging is the traceability of, how our requirements are mapped to the processes or the use cases. I've been in organization where I had to maintain the Excel sheet and it was a task. But the good thing about the Sparx EA system is it allows you to create the metrics very easily. So here I'll show you, this is the requirements to the use case. I think Judy touched on this as well. So you can highly customize, you can do the different colors. If there's an orphan requirement or use case, and it will highlight in a different color. In case if you want to just create the relationship, you just do a right click, create relationship, and then you can pick from here. So it's this easy to create the traceability. And now moving on, then the other one is the requirement to process. Again, the similar layout. It's easy to change or put in a new relationship. So this will actually allow us to do a better impact analysis. Earlier I told the challenges, if there's a changing need or you're getting inputs at a later stage. So if you have the traceability setup, it's easier to make changes or to demonstrate to the user that how this late change would affect the project or the requirement. And again, now if you want to use the complete traces, we have the option. So I'm taking just one of the requirements over here, and I'm enabling swim lanes. Let me activate this. And now let me import the related element. So I'll show the relationship between the requirement to the use cases and the business process. So and that's my use cases. And then it shows the actor. So this gives me a complete trace map. So it's mapping my requirement to the process, to the use cases, and the actors. So it's way easier to maintain and demonstrate the relationship between your requirement to the use cases and requirement to the business process. And we do have some more custom charts that we can use in the Sparx system. If you come over here, you can see the requirements, what is the current status, how many are validated, approved, and this is all done in real time. So, it addresses most of the challenges. And one of the best part is that in Spark system, you can actually generate the documentation from here. So, for example, if I want to complete or publish a report, so go into the Publish tab, build report builder, generate document, and then there are some predefined templates over here. You can select the format if you want, the PDF, RTF. I'll stick with the Word, and then you can actually pick the templates. It allows you to prepare your own template, because in some organization they would want to have a very consistent look of feel and their own logos and their own fonts and formats. So it can be done over here. So create template, or you can use any of these pre-existing templates that's over there. So for this, okay, I'll just use this for now. Okay, and then generate. Oh, it's time. And then you click on view, so you can generate the reports on the fly. So it's got the details. You can customize it. Has created the table of contents. It captures all the diagrams that are there, the use cases, the images that you have selected. That's the process diagram. So it can be done on the fly. So it's easier to implement the changes, especially in this dynamic project arena where things can change. So I've basically demonstrated that how Spark system can help us in creating better consistent requirements, then how easily we can map the requirements to the business process, to the use cases, create the traceability, create the tracing map, and how easy it is to generate the document. So my suggestion to everyone is to implement the tool. If you have preferences for any other tool, that's fine. But if you have a tool, then it basically gives you a consistent documentation, which helps with your stakeholders. They know what to expect. And then if your tool can provide you the traceability, the consistent metadata throughout the projects, what all is required, it'll help in the long run. And when it comes to Spark system, you can have custom defined tags, which helps you in the search option. And you can, with the metadata, you can auto-populate certain things, or you can put in a script, and there are ways, and it's highly customizable. And same with the look and feel, you can, customize your toolboxes, what you need, how the functional requirement should look like, or how what color your background swim lane should be. It's highly customizable, so it's up to the practice manager to keep it consistent and work with their team to educate them so that there's a consistent and efficient delivery of the key deliverable. So with that, I'll finish my talk, and if you guys have any other questions, or if you have if you want to get more information on how easily things are customized, or whether certain things can be customized or not, feel free to share it on MS Team. I will be available over there, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Gaurav. Thanks for the perfect session. Yeah, we'll wind down the session here. Thank you once again for all participants for joining this session. The videos of this session will be made available after this summit, and we will be notifying all the participants about this. So mostly it will be available in YouTube. So please make use of it. And join Gaurav and other EA practitioners in MS Teams and continue the conversations. Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining. See you all.